All right, good morning and welcome to the session on becoming a better recruiter of affiliates. My name is Chappell and I'm very excited to have on the stage with me a few industry veterans. On my right, Karen White, she's the CEO of Chateau 20. They are a performance marketing agency and focuses in the travel and entertainment space. Next, we've got Lauren Pfanmiller. She's the managing director of Ignite OPM, and they are a performance marketing agency that focuses on affiliate and other channels. And finally, we've got Stephanie Harris. She's the CEO of Schaaf-PartnerCentric and also a performance marketing agency. And I'm really excited to have them here today. For the sessions, and finally myself, I'm Van Chappell. I'm the CEO of 5IQ. The format of today's session is we're going to each spend a few minutes talking about some topics that we think are really important around recruiting. And then we're going to spend the second half of the session with some Q&A. If at any point you have a question that you want to raise, definitely raise it. We want to definitely engage with you. If you have some questions early on, if you'll send them to my email, van@5IQ, then I'll make sure that we get those in as well. So the topic of today is becoming a better recruiter of affiliates, and I'm going to start with a few slides talking about using data to become a better recruiter of affiliates. And what I would like you to walk away, at least from my portion, is understanding how you can use data to know your network, know your category, and know your competition when it comes to recruiting. So as I was preparing for this session, I was digging into the database we've got at 5IQ, and I just started looking at how could I aggregate data to look at some interesting trends. And I started by looking at the networks to see how many affiliates do we have in each of the networks within our database. And this, just looking at the number of sites isn't particularly actionable. But if you take the number of sites that are part of each network and start breaking it down by category, this might be a little bit of an eye chart. So what I've done here is taken the networks, looking at a few specific categories like arts and entertainment, music and audio, travel, tourism. You start to see that some networks have a much higher presence in some of these spaces. And so if you have an offer that's in one of these spaces, you might consider this when you're choosing which network to be a part of and when you're choosing to recruit. Some networks might be better than others. If you start looking at categories, as an example, I've looked at the fitness category here today, and you break that down by where the traffic is within certain affiliates within each category. You'll see that you've got, if you're a fitness affiliate, fitness brand, then you really need to know who those top 18 affiliates are, the ones that have the most traffic. Once you know those, then you need to start looking at, and Karen is going to talk to us today about how once you look beyond the super affiliates, there's a lot of opportunity for growth looking beyond the super affiliates. And then finally, if you break a particular category down and start looking at by network, you really start to see some patterns emerge in terms of where the brands are and where the affiliates are. And as you're putting together your recruiting strategy, you can use this to identify affiliates that become really important for you to recruit to your brand. So we've talked about knowing your network and knowing your category. Let's talk about knowing your competition, and this is probably the most important, I think. For my example today, I'm going to talk about Macy's. So I gathered a bunch of data on Macy's affiliates, and I first segmented it by traffic. So if you were a competitor to Macy's, maybe you're Nordstrom or Bloomingdale's or somebody, it would be really important for you to know who Macy's top traffic affiliates are, because those are some really good affiliates for you to go after. And you also might look at Macy's, what sectors their affiliates sit in. It's probably no surprise that their top categories of their affiliates are shopping, coupons, and clothing. But it might be a surprise that they've got a bunch of affiliates that are in the arts and entertainment category. So that might give you some ideas as you're thinking about your recruiting strategies, other places for you to look. And so I'm getting ready to pass it over to Karen, but I just want to leave you with, it's really important. There's a lot of data out there. And you can find it yourself. There are companies that can provide you data. If you know the data, I think you will become a much better recruiter when you start your recruiting programs.
How'd you do with the clicker? Hi, you guys. I'm Karen White.
And I'm going to start this off by asking you guys a quick question. So, do you think it's better to be a big fish or a small fish? Raise your hands, big fish. Big fish? Small fish? You want to be both, right? Well, let me tell you the answer to the question that I came up with, and it's neither. The reason I asked that question is when I started my agency, someone said to me that you either have to decide that you want to be a big fish in a small pond or a small fish in a big pond. And my response to that was like, well, I don't really care about the big or the small of it. I just want everybody to know how smart I am, because we're a strategic agency. We're very big on strategy. When we attack an affiliate program or attack this space, it's all about strategy, optimization, etc. So I decided that I want to be this guy. If I got to be a fish, I want to be a dolphin. Second smartest being on the planet, according to scientists. So that was kind of the what do I say? The inspiration for my deck. I got kind of engulfed in dolphins and fishes and all that kind of stuff. I know you guys have heard about the head, the belly, the tail. When we bring on a new program or whether we're optimizing an existing program, we really try and bucket our publishers into one of these particular categories. Sorry?
I think that was
Oh, okay.
the kitchen.
So the tail is obviously the third tier partners, those really the incremental sales boosters, as I like to call them. Your second tier partners are your growth builders. These are the folks that I love my team to spend a lot of attention on, because these are the folks that consistently, month over month, will bring you 10 to 20 sales per month. The head is all those top performers, those super affiliates, the folks that most people really, really want to have in your program. Of course, you're gonna want to have top performers, but a lot of people forget to focus on building the belly, building the tail. When you're looking at your program month over month or year over year, this is where you're going to see a lot of your growth come from, if you work it. And again, on that point, this is one of my favorite. This is a scene from one of my favorite movies. If you're a football fan, Any Given Sunday, there's a lecture that Al Pacino is doing in the movie where he's trying to inspire and teach his guys about winning football games. And he says that winning football games is about building those inches. And I use this same kind of, setup to inspire my team, that I tell them that those inches for us are actually affiliates. Like, don't just focus on the big affiliates, but all of the smaller affiliates, all of the mid-tier affiliates, those are important to our growth as well. So, we also so what I wanted to get you guys to see is that I want you to start taking a bigger deep dive into your programs and really kind of identify those partners that are active, those partners that are productive, and then those partners that are not active, don't have any clicks, or aren't consistent with activity. And once you've identified those, now you have to figure out, how am I going to address this? How am I going to attack optimizing these partners? Because productive partners to me is everything. I know a lot of people in this space, it's like, oh, how many active partners do you have in your program? Oh, I've got 3,000. When I ask them how many productive partners, they like to say, oh, it's that 80-20 rule, Well, I don't believe in the 80-20 rule. We knocked the 80-20 rule out of the water. For me, the 80-20 rule limits your ability to really grow and optimize your program. So when it comes to finding incremental growth, which would, obviously be something that you want to take a look at month over month, quarter over quarter, year over year. Here's sort of a strategy that we play around with every single month. We do this every month, and my team goes, oh God, do we really? But yes, we do, and it works. So bottom line is, now that we've put everybody in that tier bucket, now we start to figure out, okay, how can we motivate and how can we inspire our top performers to do more? Obviously, money talks. Bonuses, increases in commissions. But bottom line, if you can get 2 or 3 of your top performers to do 100 more sales per month, guess what? Now you got 300 new sales per month. Same thing with the second tier. Focus on 10 partners in your program. They're driving 20 sales a month. Now, how do you get those guys to drive 10 more sales? You know, how do you, maybe there's also, one of the things that we started last quarter is we started doing analysis of our second tier publishers, their website, traffic analysis. Where's your traffic coming from? Where do we see there's opportunities for you to build more traffic? We actually even partner with our second tier affiliates because a lot of them don't have big budgets. So guess what? My clients will say, look, we're going to throw $2,000 of ad spend at driving traffic to your site. You know, in exchange for that, we're probably going to give you a reduce in commission because we actually anteed up to help you advertise your site. But we're going to invest back into you because we want to keep you strong. Same thing with third tier. You know, this is the guys who are probably only making 1 or 2 sales per month. They're probably new to affiliate marketing. So part of our responsibility is also to be educators. And then finally, I wanted to share with you guys that, you know, this is a lot of work that we do in terms of optimization, but guess what? It actually works. You know, like I said, I don't believe in the 80-20 rule. 40% of our partners are productive, 70% are active. We see 300% year-over-year revenue growth in all of our programs, generally 30 to 40% month-over-month growth. So it's a lot of work, but if you do the work, it pays off, and you can optimize an existing program. Now, this is the beginning of it, obviously. What Stephanie and Lauren are going to talk about is really the next step. Got my time in?
Hey guys, I'm Lauren. I'm with Ignite OPM. And so far we've talked a lot about which partners we want to work with, identifying those publishers, and you know, we know where we want to focus in terms of tiers, the head, the belly, the tail, all of that. It's great stuff. It's half of the equation. So once we identify who we want to partner with, we want to make sure that they in turn want to partner with us. So across affiliate, you know, these publishers have the choice. It's really up to them who they put on their website, who they do a sponsored post for, whatever that looks like. So ultimately we want to make it a no-brainer. So we're going to focus on 3 key areas today to, you know, help make sure that when we reach out to those publishers that we want to work with, that it really is a no-brainer for them, and that's competitive, relevant, and easy. So the first piece is making it competitive. And I think this step 1 is an area that is kind of the obvious first step when you're creating or optimizing your marketing program. But I think it's a piece that's kind of easily overlooked. So there's tons of online resources. A lot of these have, you know, free versions that you can dig in and really get some great insights into what your competitors are doing. So we want to see exactly how these other competitive programs are structured. I think one piece that a lot of brands don't realize is that, yes, you're looking at your direct competitors within your space and you want to have a competitive program to them, but across affiliate, you're also competing with every other brand that's looking to reach the target audience of that publisher. So as you're doing this competitive research, yes, of course, look at the guys who are in your space, who are direct competitors of yours, but also if you're looking to reach you know, women who are interested in beauty and fashion and a particular household income and age, you're going to want to look at other programs that you think are doing an exceptional job reaching those users as well. So as you know, work up this competitive analysis, definitely, you know, you want to structure your program in a way that is competitive in as many of these areas as possible. So we work with large brands and small brands, and a lot of the feedback we get is, you know, hey, I just can't compete in one area or the other. You know, our margins aren't as big, so we can't offer as deep of a discount, or we can't pay a certain CPA. there's still ways to make your offer different and unique enough that's still really exciting for these publishers to work with you. So that takes me into the second piece is making it relevant. So all of these publishers, they're site owners, they want to give their audience something unique, something relevant, something different. So we need to give it to them and structure the program in a way that they're always continuously getting unique content that's seasonally relevant, that's relevant to their audience. So, traditional holidays is the obvious one. Creating promotions and offers around that's great. But I would look even further. So vertical specific events, fashion week for retailers, or baseball season for, sporting event tickets. You know your industry extremely well. So create some kind of fun, unique promotions around those particular events. Okay.
Yes.
I thought this was going to be later in the presentation.
Yeah. Those scheduled that for later.
The show is coming.
We'll keep going. So, give them something that's unique, that's going to cut through the clutter of what other programs are doing outside of just those traditional holidays. Sneak peeks is something that's been really successful for us. So, working with bloggers and influencers in particular, of course, they'll write a post, and that's awesome, and you see tons of volume and really high lifetime value. But what's going to get them to keep writing? They're not going to write the same post or product review week after week. So being able to give them kind of a sneak peek into what's coming up, what's new, something that they can provide to their audience that their audience is not getting anywhere else has been really a fun way to work with them and keep them engaged. Widgets and tools are another great opportunity to work collaboratively with affiliates. So as we talked about, you may not be able to pay the same CPA or rev share, but ultimately if your conversion rate's higher than your competitors, it's ultimately going to back out to an EPC that could be, just as profitable for that publisher. So one way we can do that is, Sitter City does a great job here in providing publishers a banner ad where they can just put their zip code in, and all of a sudden they're deep linked to the search directory of babysitters in their area. So they're that much closer to actually then getting out their credit card and making that transaction, and the experience is that much deeper. ScoreBig is a great example here where they're kind of the price line of events and sporting tickets. So within that website, the publisher's website, they can actually search for events in their area. And as soon as they go to get tickets and link out to ScoreBig's site, they're already at the checkout page. They already have those items in their cart. So that's a way that we've been able to work closely with kind of startups or younger brands to help make them compelling for these publishers. And then lastly, make it easy. These publishers are getting thousands of emails, tons of phone calls. It's really up to them to decide who they want to work with and which links they want to put on their site today. So as you reach out to them, make sure they understand why this is a unique offer to them. Make sure that your communication to them is customized to their site, to their audience, and ultimately give them all the tools that they need to go ahead and implement right then and there. If you include your creative banners, their unique publisher link, everything that they need to make that action at that moment in time, it's going to be that much easier and that much more of a no-brainer for them to go ahead and partner with you. So in close, for my section, obviously you want your offer to be as competitive as possible, and these publishers have a choice. So kind of put yourself in their shoes and understand what you would want as a publisher to provide your audience with something unique and make sure that it is profitable for your business as well.
There it goes back on. Well, at least they're waiting.
Hey guys. Okay. So I'm Stephanie Harris. I'm the CEO at Schaaf-PartnerCentric, and I am the sweeper of the panel today, we've decided. So we've talked a little bit about the data that you can pull to make decisions about your recruitment. We've talked about targeting the belly of your recruitment processes. So, people who are in the program but not yet productive, or they're not doing as much as they should be doing. And we've spoken just briefly with Lauren about the different kinds of offers and things that you can attract publishers with. And this last section that I'm going to spend some time on, and then I think during our question and answer session and some of the questions that Van has, we'll probably spend more time talking about this, is what you do with those sites that are on your wish list, or those sites that are maybe not affiliates yet, but you still want to work with them. How do you get them to engage with you when they may not be very interested in the affiliate model? Here you see a placement in action. This is some work that my company did on product reviews, sending product to an influencer, is what we would call them, a site that is not yet an affiliate, to develop a relationship with them, contacting them about product that we have, how they would like to work with this advertiser, all the things that the advertiser likes about that site, what we think they can bring to the table, and developing that relationship is the way to get into the door with these guys. So you can see here, there's 4 different sites that the advertiser is able to get placement on just from sending product, some tips about things, working out a negotiated upfront fee in exchange for placement on the site. Let me go to the next one here. Whoops. And then talking about the results. So in affiliate marketing, the sale is always king. We spend a lot of time talking about how to actually generate revenue. Affiliates are typically the concluders of a sale, but a lot of the sites on wish lists for advertisers, and I know all of us on the panel have spent a lot of time talking about this, are sites that we would consider introducers, people who are introducing a brand to their audience and not necessarily built for executing the sale. So how do you track whether something is a success? Because if you were to track just how many sales were going to come from placement on some of these wish list sites, they may look like failures. But what are we really trying to accomplish by working with these sites in the first place? So this is an example of tracking for those placements you just saw, what we would call engagement metrics, things like Pinterest pins and Facebook likes and followers on Twitter and things like that, comments on the blog posts when they've put up these product reviews, and really trying to capture what the exposure is as opposed to what the sales are. And finally, I did a quick slide on what this looks like versus the traditional methods of recruitment, to give you guys an idea of the success rates with approaching sites through the manner we were just talking about, as opposed to through traditionally sort of targeting affiliates, pushing out program terms to these guys and saying, hey, join my program, I'm offering 5% commission, here's the link to sign up, even if they've never seen an affiliate network before. And Karen mentioned that one of our jobs is to do a lot of this education piece, but what does that timing look like, and what do those results look like? So you guys can see here on the, is this the pointer? The non-traditional engagement campaign, that's what we've just been talking about. So approaching a site that may not be an affiliate yet, what we would consider an influencer, asking them how they would like to engage with your brand, with your product. Working out a way of doing that, whether it be a blog post, a paid sponsorship, a giveaway, a product review, and then the terms that they want to work with you on, and not focusing as much on getting them signed up to your program first and then seeing how they perform. So coming to them on their terms. You can see here, this case study is sort of a hybrid between the traditional recruitment and this, what we're talking about right now, where we targeted specifically these content sites and specifically tried to work with them on their terms, but still required that they join the program, required that they work through the commission terms. And it's slightly better, so you can see here the net yield in terms of like how many were, if you reached out to 100 people, 5 of them would say, yes, I'm interested in working on that basis. You can see the traditional just pushing a term, only 2 out of 100. And here you can see 18 out of 100. And then of those that you work with, you can see how much more quickly you're able to see results when you work with them on their terms, as opposed to this is the traditional trajectory, and this is sort of that hybrid model that we were talking about. So I think that this is a very big issue in our space right now, is how to work with these sites that are not part of the affiliate space yet. Everyone on here, we've all talked about how this is really relationship marketing. That's what affiliate marketing started as, and I think it's what it's going to continue to evolve to be. And as part of that relationship marketing, working with these sites means developing the relationship first, and then working with them on the terms in your program after you've seen some success with them and they've been able to develop a relationship with you. So I think we're probably gonna open it up.
Transition to Q&A.
Thank you.
And maybe Stephanie, I'll just start with a follow-up question. Do you, in a situation like this where it's a non-traditional recruitment strategy, let's say they never become an active affiliate, but they're still a productive partner, do you still consider that a success? And what's kind of been your experience in terms of converting people from a more of a non-traditional model to a traditional affiliate model?
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys can hear me on here, but so I would say that for me, what I think traditionally productive is going to mean that you're generating a sale, and I think what I was trying to show in the slides up there is that a lot of these sites may never generate any sales, or they may generate very few, but they take a lot of effort to work with. On the other hand, I don't believe that many of our clients are that interested in the sale as much as the value of that potential customer. So if even the customers that they're targeting through those sites and only end up generating in the time span that they're being measured 5 sales, those people may end up being lifelong enthusiasts of that brand. And so I think it's more of an exposure exercise. And I think it would be an exposure exercise within the affiliate space, except that when you put it within the context of the affiliate program, they're seen as failures when they're not executing sales, whereas I think you're still getting that productivity that they're looking for. Right. So putting it in a different sandbox is probably the way to best judge those efforts.
I was going to say that's exactly what we do with our entertainment. We have a lot of shows that we market, and so we get a group of 20 bloggers about every month, and we take them to see a show, and we know out the gate that these are not going to be the guys that sell 20, 30, tickets, but in travel, we've analyzed the data, and we understand that if our audience is coming to Las Vegas, that they're going to go to 30, 40 sites before making a booking. So we want to hit them as many places as possible with content from our brands before they get to that booking. So, and then, yeah, we put them in a whole separate, different bucket as far as the program is concerned.
Lauren, are you guys doing any work in this area?
Yeah, and I would add, I think attribution is a huge issue and hot topic right now in affiliate. And I think bloggers and influencers kind of get hit the hardest in that arena because they are introducing this brand to their audience, but ultimately, that user may go look for a different coupon code or whatever that is. And I don't know that they're being awarded the way that they should be in a lot of these instances. So I think ways that we've worked around that is, again, working collaboratively with that blogger to provide them with a unique promo code that can only be used through their site. We have some different tracking attribution tools that are able to allow us to kind of suppress promo codes if it didn't come from that particular blogger, to kind of help from a data perspective, support, again, the work that we're doing with those influencers that can kind of be muddled with the whole, clickstream and attribution issues that I think everyone's facing in affiliate right now.
So I'm going to shift gears a little bit. So we talked a lot about in the slides about how the size of the affiliate, how that might impact how you approach them and how you might recruit them. I'd be curious if we look at the size of the merchant, does that impact, if we look at a large, mature program, does recruiting look different than the other end of the spectrum, a less well-known program that might be just out the gate? Karen, I know you've got a couple of large programs. Would you be willing to talk about that?
So as far as I think it was Stephanie, or was it Lauren that talked about that this space, all of your competitors are also all of the other affiliate programs that are out there. So I always tell my merchants that our number one goal with building out a program is to make a program that's most attractive to affiliates that we possibly can. And sometimes it's not it's not all about the commission, but it's about making sure that you have those rich offers and rich promotions that give them something that makes them feel unique in the space. And so we use that as a competitive tool when we're working with a smaller program that's trying to compete with the Macy's or Targets of the world, or we look at who's in their space, the big guys, and we try and figure out, okay, how can we make you look more attractive than the bigger fish that's out there?
And I would add to what Karen is saying. I think, obviously the bigger brands that you work with, it's easier to get in the door with a lot of affiliates because they recognize the brand. They want to promote someone on their site they think their visitors are going to be interested in or be looking for. They think that will help their conversion. Often, the bigger the brand, the less competitive the offering, the smaller the margins are, if you will, for what they're willing to pay affiliates, the less generous it is. But when you're a smaller brand, I think what I've actually noticed is if you carry brands, if you're, for example, like a no-name baby site, but you carry brands that people will know, that will get an affiliate very excited, and you're also probably able to do better terms. I mean, there's definitely certain categories in our space that no matter whether you have a brand name or not, get a lot of traction with affiliates because they know those specific verticals or product types are going to be very sought after by their visitors and things that people want to buy online.
How about smaller brands? Lauren, I know you've got a couple of more startup type brands. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience and how it is
Absolutely.
different?
So we work with a number of startups who've just, kind of secured some rounds of funding and are ready to grow aggressively. But I think the key there is just getting the name out. And I think the way that we've been able to do that successfully, especially across that blogger influencer channel, is just offering free samples, working with these guys and allowing them to experience your product and develop their own relationship with your product and your brand so that they can communicate that to their audience. So that's definitely been a way that we've been able to kind of get in the door, and then continuing to work with them, whether that's continued kind of product samples or sneak peeks into what we do a lot with kind of subscription type companies and continuity. So allowing them to see what's in that next subscription box, or we're having a new product release, so let's get our influencers in the door and give them something special. Has been very successful with our kind of smaller brands.
Does anyone in the audience, Carrie, do you have?
Yeah, wondering about the hybrid campaigns that you've been talking about. From as you're dealing with your merchants. Hi, I'll start over. So this is on camera. So I'm wondering, as you are working with your merchants and talking them through, okay, we want to do this hybrid campaign, and we're going to work on their terms, and we're going to pay some sort of sponsored fee, but they'll still use an affiliate link, all that. Where is the money coming from, and how are you getting the merchant to agree to that? Because typically, right, you've got marketing on one side and you've got PR on the other, and if you end up in a company of any size, they just don't play together, and I have found that to be incredibly difficult to figure out who or where that money will come from. So I'm wondering what you all have done or seen.
Well, I can just say when I take on a new brand, we have that discussion up front. Bottom line is that there needs to be a budget in order for us to do these hybrid models. And a lot of my clients, it comes out of their interactive budget. So, I've just been very lucky and fortunate that I'm working with a VP or a director who has a big budget, and it's like, this is what you're going to have to allocate on top of the commission payouts that we do. And we also show that, and I'm sure Stephanie does this, at the end of the quarter, we've got the data to support, okay, we threw some money at partner B this quarter, and this is where we saw the growth. This is how we saw the growth.
Yeah. And I can also chime in on that. at SPC, Schaaf-PartnerCentric. We have definitely come across that challenge. A lot of our client contacts are, like you said, in the marketing side, and then there's the PR side. The two don't talk to each other. They don't have the same budget. So when we have an affiliate program with a client, there's usually some budget for paid placement. Sometimes we'll say, let's shift that budget over to these guys who are not an affiliate. Sometimes if we truly believe in something, we'll put up the funds depending on the budget size to prove the model out and to show that relationship will work. And sometimes we'll have to do, an sort of additional presentation to the PR side of things to show them, to Karen's point, the data, and to say, look, if you're going to work with these guys, you're already doing these PR efforts. In affiliate marketing, we know how we need to negotiate with these sites to get the exposure that you want, to try and do that warm handoff that it then becomes a more ripe conversation for the affiliate model. I think that's the purpose, is that eventually you can take that warmer relationship. Now it's not a cold outbound, join my program, and get them into the affiliate program where they become more sustainable sales.
One piece I would add to that is just on our side, it's all about planning. And at the end of the day, it's economics, and what, a user's worth to you. So building that budget in upfront is important. And then you can decide where to allocate that. But at the end of the day, if you know that there is this budget available and you're still ultimately backing out to a cost per new user that makes sense for you, I think the planning piece is extremely important there, to make sure that is available up front, as opposed to after the fact saying, oh no, we really want to work with this guy, but we don't have $5K lying around to put towards that.
To add to that, it's just really important to have an affiliate budget. It surprises me sometimes when I ask people who are looking for optimization help, I'm like, well, what's your budget? What's your monthly budget? They're like, well, we don't really have one. And I said, well, do you do paid placements? Have you done anything non-traditional? And they're like, well, we tried $1,000 here, but it didn't fly. Well, it takes a little bit more than just tossing, $1,000 or $2,000 here. But if you give us regardless of big brand, small brand, it doesn't matter. But based on your brand, what is your budget for your affiliate channel? If we know that up front, then we can play.
Yes, hi, great information. I had a question for Stephanie. My name is Linda Woods from Madrivo OPM.
Hey, Linda.
How are you? I used to own PartnerCentric. Anyway, I liked your slides about the results that you were getting with these different kinds of either a hybrid or straight to the blogger, and et cetera. The results that you had on there, was that with a conversion or just them doing something that you wanted them to do?
Yeah, excellent question. So the results slide that I had, in terms of, I think it tracked the actual engagement. So for the traditional affiliate, it was once they converted to a sale, and for the influencers, it wasn't necessarily to the first sale, but it was to the blogger being the product review being posted, all of that. I think it's actually similar to if you say, what is the objective for this campaign versus the objective of this campaign, and how quickly can we get to that objective being met.
Sorry, David from GoSmallBiz.com. Yeah, so I'm kind of new in the affiliate space, so excuse my ignorance if this kind of sounds like a very simple question. So right now what we've done is we pretty much just have our own in-house network, but also have joined ShareASale. And we're not really getting any type of real numbers, and the numbers that we are getting are very small and kind of coupon sites. So is there any kind of space or websites you can kind of suggest to find some, not even just the big heads, but just even the belly people, those type of affiliates, and then B, how do you actually have a strategy to put together to actually recruit those into your program?
Talk to me after, for the first part. For the second part,
Yeah, he is our secret weapon.
Yeah,
That's all I'm going to say.
He provides some great data.
That's it.
But
Yeah.
how to recruit them? I mean, that's where you guys shine.
Yeah. I mean, it's exactly, once you kind of, what I love to use 5IQ for is really kind of an understanding of what the opportunities are there for particular brands. So, and you can talk to this guy and say, hey, this is what I'm trying to look for sites that are in this particular category, and he'll find you some stuff. And then once you've gotten defined on what you're looking for, then you can come up with how should we best approach this particular group of people? Because if it's a particular group, like these gals have said, if it's a particular group of sites that are not in the affiliate space, that are not used to it, I'm not going to pitch them, hey, come join our affiliate program. I'm probably like these girls said, I'm probably going to get 1-2 people. But if I approach them in a manner of like, I looked at your site, I think there's a good fit for our brands to work together. Can we hop on a call? Can we discuss, opportunities, that we can work together? So you really have to just keep an open mind and don't get sort of siloed into like, I'm trying to get more affiliates. But you're looking for opportunities, promote and market your brand. So
I had a related question I had in the kind of the stuff I had sketched before, and that was around, I've seen presentations in the past where they talk about the difference between passive recruiting and active recruiting, and I'd be really curious to hear from the panel, how do you think about that? How much investment do you put in passive recruiting versus active recruiting, and do any of you have any kind of ROI to suggest which one's worth spending more money on?
What do you mean by passive recruiting?
Maybe putting an affiliate page up on your website where affiliates can find you, or maybe you sponsor something within the network newsletter or something like that.
So we used to do, years ago, we used to build like these micro affiliate sites for our clients. There would be like, a client we still have today in the swim. We built like an affiliate.intheswim.com type site that they hosted, but we built it thinking that affiliates are going to come and check out all these tools. And I think what you quickly realize is that affiliates, like the rest of us, I mean, they're flooded with lots of offers, lots of opportunities. Many of them want to work with as many merchants as possible. They want to work with thousands if they're data feed, coupon loyalty, et cetera. They're not going to go to your one individual brand's page. I mean, that's my feeling. So that never got a lot of traction. And I think that, especially to be heard above the noise, you need to be actively recruiting, and it needs to be more than, like I said, like pushing an offer, especially with someone that you really want to go after. You need to kind of put yourself in the mindset of that person and really show that you've put some thought into why you want to actually work with that site, because that actually speaks volumes to them, showing them that they're not just like one in a list of 1,000 that you're pushing stuff to. Yeah.
Hello. My name is Asosa Gadar. I'm a startup founder. Cosign, we monetize your selfies. And I have 2 questions. My first question is, what are some of the objections you hear from affiliates that when you try to pitch them? And then what have you done to like counteract or seal the deal? And then my second question is, after you have done like the introducer program and you've paid for a placement on their site, what is the interaction after the initial engagement? Do you see them still kind of interacting with your program, or is it only when you pay they do?
Yeah, so in terms of objections that we hear, I think a lot of times it's a small brand, and we just don't have the resources to get you up, get you running, especially for like the big super affiliates, where they're looking for a lot of large household names. I'd say the way that we overcome that is creating something unique or exclusive for that particular site. So a lot of times, as we go back to kind of the budgets, yes, it's important to have a budget, but a lot of times you can work with publishers to secure some of those premium placements without handing over $1,000. You can create, an exclusive promotion for them that is going to kind of be equivalent to secure that newsletter, that home page, or whatever that looks like. So I think, working on a one-off basis, there's not really one size fits all, but working collaboratively with that publisher to understand what that objective is and, find a creative solution to, to meet that, that challenge.
Oh, she had a
the
second.
second
She had a
part
second
around-
part. And Karen might have additional thoughts on this, but to answer that second part of the question, which was what happens after you've worked on this paid engagement with the influencer. We've seen a lot of success where, we'll do sometimes it'll be just the warm handoff back to the client and saying, here are the relationships that we've garnered for you, and you can take them to your PR department to do what they want to do with them. In other instances, when we've worked out ahead of time that the objective is to try and transfer them to the affiliate program, we do actually continue the relationship with those influencers and talk with them about other ways that they can interact with the brand and work out what kind of fees they're looking for, what they want to accomplish, and how we can back that out into an appropriate CPA. And I think the biggest hurdle with these guys is getting them to sign up for an affiliate program, the technology piece. And so if we can, once we've had that relationship and they can see how their visitors interact with the brand, if there's enthusiasm there and it's been successful, that's a much easier conversation to have than when it's a blind, work with us anyway and you'll see how great affiliate is when they've had actual experience with the brand. And they see that your advertiser is willing to spend money with them. I think that's a big leap of faith that they're looking for that we can accomplish through other means.
Go ahead. I was just going to add too, real quick. I'm just going to be real quick. I was just going to say that I start off with, both sides were testing. It's a test market. Let's see what happens. And being really honest about that. It's like, let's see what the outcome is, and then if we need to make some adjustments or tweaks, then let's work together to do that. If you can get that agreement going in the beginning, then you're in a better place for the long run.
Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Roberts, Mommy Makeup. We're a small beauty brand. And we've noticed, we've been in the affiliate space for a couple of years. We've noticed that a lot of our publishers have basically dropped out of the programs. They only want slotting fees or they want placement fees, and they just no longer want to be an affiliate for all the money in the world. And even though they were successfully bringing a lot of traffic our way and getting a lot of conversions, they'd rather have the $500. And that's sort of a trend I'm seeing now more and more. And it's harder and harder to recruit. The new if I find a blogger or something, they just want $500 or they want $200. They don't want a commission. I'll give them 30%, or I'll give them 50% for the first 6 months, or I'll give them, I'll sweeten the deal. We'll offer them $500 bonus on 10 transactions. I try all kinds of crazy, let's buy my way into their good graces, and that's just not working anymore. And it seems to be the trend in the last year and a half. And how are you combating basically the bloggers just don't want to be affiliates anymore? At least the mediums to small bloggers don't. They're just not interested. They want the cash.
There's a lot of bloggers that don't understand affiliate marketing.
Yeah, but they want the money.
And some bloggers just want to get paid to post. And what we're saying is that you, as the merchant, you need to be open-minded to accepting those kind of engagements if it makes sense for your budget and if you can get a good ROI off of it.
Yeah, but if there's no LTV on it, I mean, it's like I know what it's worth. So it's not if the site only is doing, let's say 10,000 visitors a month, I'm going to have if I'm lucky, I'm going to get 30 visitors out of them, and if I'm lucky, I'm going to get 2 conversions. And that's not worth $500 to me.
Right. So
I know the math, and so I have to say bye-bye.
Yeah. So exactly. If it's
you
not
answered that question, right?
Yeah, you answer. If you can't make a good ROAS off of it,
Yeah.
then it's not a good fit for your brand.
And you just walk away.
Yeah. And so you just walk away. That's okay, and don't feel bad to walk away.
Right.
It's okay if go ahead.
Well, and I was going to say, and this is part of the issue that you're speaking to that you've seen the last year and a half, and we've all spoken about this when preparing for this panel, which is that clients, merchants will come to us and they'll want very desperately to want to work with these sites because I think there's like a general frustration about working with the same old super affiliates, top affiliates, coupon and loyalty loyalty guys and what else is out there. And this is a great channel. Affiliate marketing is a great space to be in. I think it still makes a lot of sense for so many different partnerships. But I think to Karen's point, we have to think a little bit more broadly. If we really want to work with these other sites, how do we work with them? We can't keep trying to push a square peg through a round hole. And I think that's the frustration that a lot of people are feeling. And we have to change the way we engage with those sites if we want to be on them.
You got to find those sites that are a good fit for you and are a good fit for your budget. It's like, where are those bloggers that you can get a decent ROAS from?
Right.
And those are the folks that you spend your money on. The folks that you can't, that don't give you a good return on investment, you just walk away. It's no biggie. And I also don't believe that you have to have every single affiliate in your program.
Right.
You're looking for that group of affiliates that believe in your brand and who have agreed to push it, and that you can get a good ROAS from.
And so it kind of leads me to a question I had around how much should you recruit? I mean, all of you do a lot of recruiting for your clients. Give me a sense of how much time you're spending on recruiting.
I mean, I would say you're always wanting to actively recruit. That passive side is, it's good to have. It's good to have that exposure and promote your program. But there are always new sites popping up. You always want to have your finger on the button there. And I think to kind of address, what you guys were just talking about as well with these guys, they do want sponsored post fees. They want something up front. So I think developing a strategy, we kind of recalibrate on the fly, but we really sit down and do, a quarterly business review and decide how much budget there is and which publishers are driving the greatest ROI and really what's going to be most successful for the program, so we can then reallocate that budget appropriately moving forward. And with that comes, the recruitment piece. What channels, what type of sites are working well, and then where can we, go after more sites like that? So I would say always to answer that question if you're looking to expand the program.
I think Stephanie and I would agree.
Right.
Hi, my name is Lily. I come from Mexico, and we have a program, an in-house program for our resorts. We have 3 resorts in Cancun and the Mayan Riviera. I have just 2 years in the affiliate marketing, and I've had a lot of trouble in recruiting because of the concept of our hotels, and that's why we decided to keep it in-house because the travel networks didn't work for us. Our hotels are adult only, and we have 2 brands. One is clothing optional for couples, and the other it's only adults. The problem I have so many trouble. The travel, I don't know how to recruit because it's travel, because it's resort, but somehow also the networks feel it's adult, and they link it to porn or something like that. I mean, it's kinky hotels, kind of. But I mean, also working for networks, I pay a lot of money up front, and I cannot get to talk to the affiliate because, of course, we know it's hard to sell it, but as well, we pay good commissions. And another thing I had trouble with is the rev share commission. A lot of publishers and affiliates want to better go for the fixed rate. And when you have a hotel, there's always an emergency or no shows or whatever, and we just don't want to pay fixed rate and upfront because we're going to lose a lot of money.
Karen, I think you've probably got more travel experience than any of us.
Well, I
Not
don't know
nude
about that.
resorts,
Yeah. I don't know about that. So I did work with couples, and they did have one resort that was a clothing optional, and it is a challenge, but you're going to have to do some research on finding those sort of niche type websites that may cater to that audience. Honeymooning, things that you can, couples, you're going to have to figure you're just going to have to do some hard digging to recruit specific sites that are a good fit for your brand. You are going to have a challenge of, you're not going to go to the deal and coupon sites and say, hey, I've got this resort where they're just not going to do it, But we were able to find them a small bucket of publishers that were a good fit. The other thing is your commission model, probably going to have to boost it up a little bit. We do pay with our hotels, we pay on confirmed stay, so I know what you're saying about that. You're just going to have to get a little creative. If you want to reach me when this is over, I can give you some tips and ideas and things of that nature.
Definitely. Thank you.
Are there any other questions in the audience? We've just got a couple minutes left before the end. I had one question I was personally curious about. I mean, each of you run a well-known OPM. Take me inside the conversation when you're signing up a new client. How much of that conversation is around recruiting? And tell me what that conversation sounds like when somebody's coming to you to outsource their program and they're interested in recruiting.
I would say that a lot of that conversation centers around the expectation and making sure that their expectation for the channel is in line with what the channel can and should deliver if we're doing our jobs right. Because I think that that's like the single greatest indicator of success for the relationship is if you're aligned on the expectation. So if someone comes and says, I'll pay you all the money in the world, but I need you to get me every single affiliate in the universe into my program, and my program, I'm only willing to pay, maybe, 1% total, and my conversion is in the toilet, I think the important thing is that no matter how much money you throw at something, it has to be the right fit for it to be something that's going to work for the brand and for the advertiser.
And I think a big piece of that is identifying what that end goal looks like. So, a lot of times we work with clients who, like Rover.com is a great example. It's a pet sitting site. They're looking for pet owners to connect with pet sitters. So, they started with a lead gen campaign. That's great, but the ultimate goal is to get someone to actually make that booking. So, to set that conversion point at the booking, maybe, the conversion rate's too low, so that's not going to be competitive to publishers. But the lead gen, the conversion rate's high, but you're ending up paying out all this money that the users aren't then actually converting to a paid user. So really, kind of finding and defining what those goals are and what that conversion point is that's going to make sense to back into your, ultimate conversion point at a price point that makes sense for you.
I was just going to say for me, it's about what's the optimization goals, and when starting out the engagement. When someone's got an existing program, they obviously have a challenge that they're trying to overcome. So I want to take a really good dig into that and understand what the problem is and come up with some solutions.
Great. Well, thanks so much for taking your time this morning, and thanks for the panelists.
Thank you guys.
Thanks.
Good.